As a Florida real estate broker and investor, I'm constantly scouring this state for the best properties to invest for short-term rentals or vacation rental properties. I'm looking for areas that are welcoming for this type of investment, this type of product to provide to the area, and I'm looking for areas that also draw in a large percentage of people on an annual basis from other states, other countries. And guess what? Florida attracts over 131 million people on an annual basis. So let's jump into it. I'm gonna go through my top 10 places of opportunity for short-term rental investment properties throughout the state of Florida. And also be sure you stay to the end because the last two are the most economical, where you can get pretty damn cheap Florida properties on the beach. And also I'm gonna leave you a handful of tips to utilize while you're on your search. The first is the Upper Keys. The Florida Keys are a string of tropical islands stretching about 120 miles off of the southern tip of the United States of Florida, between the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. And the Florida Keys draws in over 5 million visitors every single year. And if you haven't been, I can tell you the Florida Keys are a very special place. They have beautiful Caribbean blue waters, fantastic fishing, a lot of bar and restaurant options. Overall, just an incredible experience. Now, Key West is quite expensive. That's as far south as you're gonna go in the continental United States, and it is a bit pricey, and I don't know if the return on investment would actually make sense. So I'm gonna talk more about some of the Upper Keys, like Islamorada, Key Largo, and Marathon, where you can find some cool options for vacation rental investment property, from small condos to RV mobile homes to even live aboard boat slips for sale. The second option for short-term rental investment properties is Fort Myers Beach. Fort Myers Beach is located in Southwest Florida. I live nearby in Bonita Beach, and it's located in between Naples, Bonita Springs, and Fort Myers. Essentially on this island, it's easy access to any of the beaches, public beaches in the area. It's a mix of condos, single family, as well as multi-family properties. Now, Fort Myers Beach is a little unique that each property, not necessarily the condos you do have to watch out, and I'll talk about that later on. But Fort Myers Beach has the single family and multifamily properties that are actually in different zones, whether it's a weekly zone, so minimum would be 7-day minimum, or monthly, where you have to rent the property a minimum of 30 days. Now, the lower minimum day requirement is probably gonna benefit you better in Southwest Florida, just because we do have a season here. Majority of people from, say, the Midwest and so forth come down to Southwest Florida to get out of the cold, and that's usually January, February, March, and part of April. And there's not many people that want to come down here for a month at a time in the summer, because it can get pretty hot. The next place is Bonita Springs. I am super biased to Bonita Springs just because I live here. I love this area. I do a lot of investing in this area as well. It's located just south of Fort Myers Beach and just north of Naples. Has incredible beaches out here. Now, one thing about Bonita Beach is there are no hotels directly on the beach. There is a community called the Beach and Tennis Club across the street from the beach, and those are set up as studios. You can buy those as individuals, and they kind of act like pretty much the only hotel near the beach. Now, there are other opportunities just off island in other areas like Bonita Shores, where you can possibly pick up a single family home or even a multifamily property with easy access to the beach. The next place is Anna Maria Island, and this is another special place. Anna Maria Island is another barrier island along the Gulf Coast just south of St. Petersburg. Anna Maria Island has 7 miles of beautiful sand to stroll along, and is a very charming area, laid back, with roots going back to the early 1900s. It's a very family-friendly destination as well. There are many old restored cottages around the island, and no shortage of street-legal golf carts and bicyclists exploring everywhere. Now, this area is a bit more pricey, but the thing is, there are very few hotels, and there are a lot of boutique hotels and not major chains. So there's not big resorts necessarily on this island, so a lot of people that do have homes or condos do pretty well in terms of renting out, because the hotel inventory is just not there. The next place is St. Petersburg, downtown St. Pete essentially, as well as St. Pete Beach. I'm gonna clump these together. They are two separate areas for sure. I mean, they're nearby, about 15-minute proximity, but I'm gonna clump these together. Now, downtown St. Pete is a very cool area. It's a small city located right on the Tampa Bay, and it's filled with cool little breweries, art studios, shops, and restaurants. In this area, you're gonna find a lot of houses that were converted into basically room and board houses for short-term rentals, as well as bed and breakfasts. Now, as you cross the bridge into St. Pete Beach, you're gonna find miles and miles of beaches along the Gulf Coast, a lot of cool areas to explore on St. Pete Beach, and they have a lot of cool little beach bars along the way. St. Augustine, I've lived in Florida since 1999, and I still have not been to this area, and I don't know why, because it seems like a really cool spot, and I know of other real estate investors that have done really well out there, but we are gonna set up that trip. Maybe I'll bring you guys with us as well so we can check out some Airbnb properties out there. But their claim to fame is to be the oldest city in the United States, founded in 1565. This beach town city attracts over 6 million visitors every single year, and there is no shortage of ghost tours, old buildings, museums, restaurants, and bars to explore. The next place is Cocoa Beach. I know this area very well. My father actually lives out there. This is located, if you look at Orlando and just go straight east, it's gonna run right into Cocoa Beach. And speaking of Orlando, a lot of people who go to visit the theme parks and Disneyland over in Orlando will take the day trip or even a couple of nights over in Cocoa Beach to go explore, enjoy the beach, and also try out maybe boogie boarding or surfboarding. And if you're lucky enough and the timing is right, you might even see a shuttle go off at Cape Canaveral. And also, Disney is putting in millions and millions of dollars into Port Canaveral, which is basically on the north end of Cocoa Beach, and there's gonna be a lot more expansion in this area and a hell of a lot more visitors. The next place, since we're talking about it, is Orlando, and it's pretty amazing how many people actually go and visit Orlando on an annual basis. They take the cake, welcoming over 75 million people in 2018, and that's just growing. Even though Orlando's I-4 can be a battle with traffic, I can tell you they do have their stuff together in terms of building that infrastructure for all. I think there's well over a dozen theme parks in that area, including but not limited to Disney, Islands of Adventure, Universal Studios, and Epcot, to name a few. Orlando also made Forbes' top list of the top 25 US destinations to visit in 2020. And Orlando has all sorts of types of short-term rental investments, from small condo hotels to even cottages within Jimmy Buffett resort communities. And now the last two that are beach towns that you can get in fairly cheap right on the beach. The first one is Panama City Beach. Now, I do have to warn you, some of these are condo hotels and they are very difficult to finance, and I would not finance anything with a short-term loan where it's gonna balloon out or the rate's gonna adjust. I'm a big believer, if you're gonna take debt, make sure it's a 15-year fully amortized or a 30-year fully amortized loan. Panama City Beach is located in the panhandle of Florida and sits on top of the Gulf of Mexico. Each year, 4.5 million visitors come to Panama City Beach with very busy summer months. And that far north, it can get fairly chilly in the winter, which why it doesn't draw so many people in the winter months. As mentioned, this is one of the more economical places to get directly on the beach for like a small studio condo or maybe a one-bedroom condo where you can put it into a short-term rental program and generate some income and use yourself. And Daytona Beach. Daytona Beach is located just north of Cocoa Beach, and it's located on the east coast of Florida. Daytona Beach brings in roughly 10 million visitors each year and is home to Bike Week, spring break destination for college students, and the Daytona 500. And there are no shortage of bars to lean up against. And again, this is an area where you can find cheap, like little studio condos directly on the beach. And another cool thing that Daytona has, for a small fee, you can even drive your 4x4 vehicle on the actual sand. And some tips. First, make sure that you guys thoroughly research the areas of concentration. I highly suggest you guys go get on Airbnb, check out some of these places, stay for a weekend, stay for a week, visit it multiple times, talk to real estate agents, talk to vacation rental companies, and also make sure it's a place that you guys want to visit yourself and enjoy yourself, because I think, you know, you can get a better return in many cases on straight annual rental properties. But the whole point of getting these properties, in my opinion, is you have the ability to use them yourself as well as offer it to friends and family. The next thing is, if you guys are buying in a HOA or a condo association, be sure you guys review the rules and regulations. Make sure, in fact, that you guys are able to rent these properties short term. And also, and I highly recommend probably 15 days or less, again, especially if it's seasonal, 15 days or less should suffice for you guys. But again, talk to the local professionals in those areas. And also, be sure you guys review the association documents and the financials very closely. Make sure that the HOA is in fact sound, that they have plenty of reserves for, you know, a new roof in the future and so forth, because the last thing you want to do is buy into one of these communities, especially if they're on the beach, and you know the salt water can really wreck a property if they don't take care of deferred maintenance. So you want to make sure that they have the funds necessary, because the last thing you want to do is buy one of these properties and then you get hit with a special assessment of 10 grand or 20 grand or 5 grand. The last tip that I got for you guys is be sure you guys run the numbers forwards, backwards, multiple times. Don't just rely on what a seller is providing in terms of income analysis. Be sure you guys get into on AirDNA. You can actually utilize a free program, AirDNA, without even paying for the premium membership. I'll put an affiliate link down below for you guys as well, so you can check that out in really any area to get an idea of what kind of income these properties would bring. And also, if you guys are not going to self-manage, be sure you guys start talking to vacation rental companies and see if they can actually provide you guys pro formas. If they do want to work with you and ultimately you hire them, they should provide you guys basically an analysis of what that property will gross every single month, every single year. And speaking of that, I did another video on whether you guys should self-manage the vacation rental property or actually outsource and hire a vacation rental company. You guys can check out that video next, and I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks a lot.